So we're very proud of our support services, and we not only support affected families, we also support their friends, the wider family, their school and their workplaces. And as Sarah has already explained, we both have lived experience of ALD, having children diagnosed with the condition. So we truly know and understand the difficulties faced by families. We support families in numerous different ways, and we always offer a holistic approach and tailor our support to the individual needs of the family. The charity tagline is helping to cope, helping to hope. So how do we help families to cope? We offer one-to-one support. This often starts with people contacting us via email. That's the easiest way, especially when you're first diagnosed. You want to reach out for some help, but actually life is very, very difficult at that point. We always try to answer emails as soon as possible, because there's nothing worse than waiting for someone to answer. Often after the first few emails, we then have telephone conversations. And during these conversations, we really get to know the family, and we can often identify support needs during those conversations, which we can help with. I also do a number of home visits. This is really important for families, especially when the children are or adults for that matter, are deteriorating, and suddenly there becomes a need to adapt your home. So you suddenly need hoists and profiling beds, etc., etc. So I often meet with occupational therapists and physiotherapists in the home, and we walk through together what might work and what might not work. Families have to attend hospital visits. These, especially in the beginning, can be numerous and extremely tiring. They're also very stressful for the families. Suddenly they've gone from not ever really seeing a doctor, apart from perhaps their GP, to having lots of professors and doctors, specialists, physios, OTs, all involved, and they all want to see you, and it feels like it's always at once. So I go along to these hospital visits, and I can take notes, I can ask questions, help, and just generally help the families and support them. The other problem that families often face is getting good and adequate support at home, so care for their children. Many statutory services will offer the minimum amount of care. That doesn't always work for families, and they often need more, or they'll be given care at the wrong times of day. So they'll be offered care between 10 and 11 in the morning when the other children need to go to school at 8 o'clock. So that's where I become the advocate for the family, and I speak to MDT meetings, multidisciplinary team meetings, and help to get the family's point across. Bristol Children's Hospital for many years have had an ALD clinic, and Professor Colin Stewart invited me probably 4 years ago to go and attend the clinic in a support capacity. This has worked really well, and it's been very beneficial both for the families and for the doctors, because often we will identify a support need which the doctors can't actually move forward with, so then we at the charity take that on. I actually think one of our greatest resources is our families themselves. They're willing to share their experiences with others, and peer support is so important. It's very isolating when you're diagnosed with a rare disease. No one's ever heard of it. You don't know anyone who's got it. So actually, to talk to someone who understands what a leukodystrophy is, understands the trials, the emotional roller coaster that you're on, is just so important. And this peer support is going to be especially helpful as we move forward to supporting everyone with leukodystrophies. Many of these families will never have met someone else with the same condition, especially the very rare leukodystrophies. So we will be able to introduce families to one another, and even if they don't have the same condition, Often the symptoms will be the same, and the difficulties faced are all very similar. The community weekend, which Sarah touched on, is one of the highlights of the charity, and we're very proud of it. And it brings families together alongside doctors, scientists, researchers from all over the world. But the weekend is not just about listening to presentations and learning lots of new information. It's also about friendship and laughter. From Sarah's famously difficult quiz on the Friday night to my challenge for families to work together to build something out of newspaper, sellotape and a few straws. It's wonderful to see the families together, having fun and supporting each other. We also have a grants programme where we can offer small financial grants to help with things such as equipment, small pieces of equipment which perhaps aren't readily available through social services or on the NHS. We produce disease-specific information, and as Sarah said, all of our medical information is checked by specialists to ensure that it's accurate and therefore can be trusted and shared even with the professionals involved within your care. On our fantastic new website, we have compiled a section which is full of information about things like equipment. So if you want to know about beds or pressure reducing mattresses, there's also sections on benefits, where you can go on holiday, accessible holidays. We think we've covered everything. If we haven't, please let us know. So as you can see, we really do help families to cope, even under what is often the most awful circumstances. And we're here for the whole journey. So we support people from that first diagnosis, and we also support people who have perhaps been diagnosed for 20 years, and suddenly they've got a question to ask. And we help us all to hope that in the future there will be a treatment for all the leukodystrophies. And in the meantime, we give hope that the families can still have a loving, fulfilled and happy life. Thank you.